Hello, my name is Professor Brittany Walker Craig, and I am going to be discussing with you how veganism saved my life and how it can save yours too.
So I found these shorts. They're a size 12, as you can see, 31. I used to wear these back before vegan and plant-based days, but as you can see, like I can literally fit myself inside of these. That's crazy. Like one thigh is almost both of my thighs together now. So crazy. But yeah, I ought to keep these just as a reminder of this is what I don't want to go back to with eating meat, dairy, consuming all this sugar that led to the type 2 diabetes. So,
Hi everyone, my name is Brittany again, and let me tell you about my journey. So as you can see in the picture above, I was a little bit bigger than what I am now, and I've even lost some more weight in the bottom picture since then, but more toning. So in the top picture, I was between a 14 and a size 16 at 200 pounds. And at the bottom picture, I am now at a size 3'4" at 131 pounds. And of course, I am toning up the muscle of all the weight that I've lost. So as you can see, I have lost roughly 80 pounds and I'm really excited about it. Most of it strictly came from being on a plant-based diet. I actively did not start exercising until 2020. Now, I have attempted to exercise over the years, but I've been consistently working out since May of 2020. Now, the above picture was originally taken in May of 2017. I transitioned to a plant based diet on August 13th, 2017, and let me tell you how that started. So, before transitioning to a plant based diet, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome, which is IBS, bipolar II disorder, ovarian cysts, dysmenorrhea, which is severe menstrual cramps, menorrhagia, which is heavy menstrual bleeding, allergic rhinitis. So anytime the seasons would change, I would get sick and my allergies would begin acting up. Acute bronchitis. I had bronchitis really, really bad and it came frequently throughout the year, and I actually had an inhaler. Viral meningitis, and then blurred eye vision. My complete right eye started going blurry, and I actually had to get glasses just to correct my vision in that right eye. So I had all of these things going on, but none of these things made me want to go to a plant-based diet because a lot of these things were common within my family, within my culture. So I'm thinking that, hey, I'm just getting that generational curse. It's just starting to onset a tad bit earlier. But what actually made me lean towards the plant-based diet is 90 days before I was going to get married, I was not satisfied with my weight. I had tried on wedding dresses and I had to get a size 16, which I had been in the single digits my whole life. And although that's not a bad size to be in, it was just different for me with the frame that I have. I was referred to a resource, and that resource is What the Health. I was advised to watch this documentary, so turned on Netflix, watched the documentary. As soon as it went off, my mouth was open. I was in a complete disgusted state because I could not believe that everything that I had been consuming my whole entire life had all of these things inputted or inserted, or really was just not the healthiest thing for me. So I immediately went to my refrigerator and my pantry and I cleared everything out that was meat, dairy, any type of animal products, any type of processed products. I was completely flabbergasted by it all. Now, at that time, I was a chef that owned a restaurant and I was eating meat and dairy heavily. Both of my grandmothers are from Louisiana, and my mother is from Beaumont, so I grew up eating a lot of soul food and Cajun food. So I'm thinking, how am I going to make my roux? How am I going to make my cornbread from scratch? I was just in awe on how am I going to survive and eat the way that I've been eating. In the midst of completing this transition, 2 weeks later, I had a trip scheduled to New Orleans, and I was so upset once I got to New Orleans because I literally have been surviving off of French fries and salad because I really didn't think that there was nothing that I could eat besides that. But got to New Orleans and was able to discover restaurants that accommodated vegans. I just was running myself ragged to try to figure out, how am I going to eat crawfish? How am I going to get gumbos? How am I going to go to Cafe Du Monde and get my beignets? Like, what is going to happen? So I found a restaurant. I was able to purchase vegan beignets, vegan gumbo, vegan crab cakes, vegan red beans and rice. And I'm like, okay, we're on to something. So then I started doing my research and realizing that there were a lot of opportunities for plant-based options. And of course, with me being a chef, that I could just start doing dietary modifications to the things that I loved most. So during this time, I returned back to school and obtained my Master of Science in Nutrition Education, which allowed me to then become a licensed plant-based nutritionist and a biology professor. So in Houston, Texas, for one of the college systems, I do teach nutrition and diet therapy classes for the biology department, teaching students how nutrition is important to the body and what we put in and on our bodies has a direct effect on life longevity and for us to achieve optimal health. So I want to deep dive into the lesson for today because I did discuss all of the things that I was diagnosed with before transitioning to plant-based. As of today, 3.5 years into being plant-based, I no longer have diabetes, I no longer have IBS, and I no longer have bipolar disorder. I no longer have any of the things that were listed on that list. My doctors are shocked. I don't take any medication. I don't get sick. I don't have cramps. I don't get the common cold or flu. Being plant-based has been so important. A lot of people discuss, you don't even take pain medication. I don't, because a lot of the capsules are made from animal products. And then for me, I have just tried to eliminate all chemicals, all genetically modified objects or GMOs or any type of toxic ingredient that has a direct effect on developing chronic illnesses. In the Black community, we say, hey, we now been diagnosed with cancer. It's the hereditary curse because everybody in my family gets cancer. Or, well, you know that your grandmother gets depressed often and your mother gets depressed often, so that's probably why you're suffering from depression, and maybe we need to put you on medication for that. But nobody is really sitting back and thinking about, it's not really our obtaining these generational curses, it's just we're repeating the same cycles that our parents, our grandparents, and our culture has been indulging in throughout our entire history. So now let's try tapping into, well, what happened if we do try being plant-based, and what benefits can that do for you? Because 9 times out of 10, when you talk to somebody in our culture and you advise them of being plant-based, they're going to say, I need my chicken, I need my pork, I need all of these things that they feel like are so good to their palates, but they're already shutting down the fact of all we need is what's grown right from this earth, because we have everything that we need to survive and sustain. In today's lesson, I'm going to be giving helpful tips for decreasing chronic illnesses while transitioning to vegan. Tip number 1, discover dietary modifications for your current favorite meals. Tip number 2, educate yourself on the best macro and micronutrient substitutes. Tip number 3, detox the body with a raw plant cleanse and exercise. Tip number 4, eat a variety of different color veggies and fruits daily. Tip number 5, consume all of the food groups consistently on a daily basis. Tip number 6, indulge in beneficial supplements. Tip number 7, read all nutrition labels. And tip number 8, track your progress. So let's go ahead and deep dive into these tips as we promote going vegan for Veguary. Discover dietary modifications for your current favorite meals. What my recommendation is, what is it that you like to eat? Macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, meatloaf, gumbo. What are your favorite meals? Take those meals, and now it's time to start dissecting how can you modify those meals so that they're plant-based, so that you can still get your food that you love that's going to satisfy your umami palate or your savory taste buds for plant-based ingredients that are going to be more healthy for you and promote healthier living. So the example that I gave is gumbo. Now, if you can see to the left-hand side, traditional ingredients include all-purpose flour, butter, chicken stock, broth, chicken, sausage, so on and so forth. Now, I do have a couple of things highlighted in red, and these happen to be the items that are already vegan. Now, if you look to the far right-hand side, I am giving you the alternative for those options. Now, although all-purpose flour is considered vegan, I do promote to have items that are not processed or items that are not white, because they have been stripped from all of their nutrients, so they're not giving you as many nutrients as you think they are, flour. So for flour, I recommend whole grain flour, oat flour, quinoa flour, brown rice flour. For butter, there's now plant-based butter that's made from nuts. Earth Balance happens to be my favorite option. Instead of chicken stock or broth, you could do veggie broth or even just water and add extra seasoning to it. For chicken, there's actually vegan chicken, as you can see to the far right-hand side at the bottom, labeled no evil is one of the options that I like to use. Or you could simply use mushrooms, chickpeas, beans, and lentils because of the protein that they provide for the body. Instead of andouille sausage, you could do vegan sausage, which is field roast sausage I have to the far right side, or mushrooms, chickpeas, beans, and lentils as well to substitute for the protein. Spices with added sodium. So you want to go ahead and look for organic spices without added sodium. The okra and diced tomatoes are already vegan. Now, white rice is still technically vegan, but like I mentioned earlier, we want to try to indulge in grains that have not been stripped of their nutrients. So wild rice, quinoa, or brown rice. Sweet yellow onions, so they tend to have a sweeter content to them. We recommend doing red onions because they give you more beneficial nutrients. And then the celery, green bell pepper, garlic cloves, or parsley are already vegan. And then you can throw in multiple colored bell peppers such as the orange, the yellow, or even the red. Educate yourself on the best macro and micronutrient substitutes. For macronutrients, those are nutrients that we need in abundance all of the time. So proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and water. So these are some substitutes that you can engage in for those particular micronutrients. So for proteins, legumes, so chickpeas, lentils, beans, and peas. We have mushrooms, quinoa and wild rice, kale, all different types of seeds, including hemp, pumpkin, flax, and chia, nuts, cashews, walnuts, and almonds, teff, oatmeal, or any soy products, tempeh, tofu, and edamame. For carbohydrates, we recommend complex carbs, which are legumes again, potatoes such as sweet and red, whole grains including quinoa, barley, oats, bread, cereal, or pasta, seeds again with the hemp, pumpkin, flax, or chia, or squash, butternut, or pumpkin. And then healthy vegan fats include avocados, tahini, seeds again, nuts again, cacao, not cocoa, but cacao. It is a superfood. And then oil, coconut, canola, grapeseed, avocado is another good one as well, as long as safflower. Drink plenty water and tea daily, minimum of 8 cups per day, or that is the equivalent to 4 water bottles, and that's just the minimum. You could definitely drink way more than that, but that's how much we recommend for the minimum. When it comes to tea, I also recommend decaffeinated tea, only because caffeine has not the best effects on the body, especially when it comes to women in our uterus and our womb. So we want to be cautious of how much caffeine we are consuming. Now, when it comes to micronutrients, those are the vitamins and the minerals. You are able to get these nutrients from a lot of these foods, including a lot of fruits. And then you can also get these options from supplements, which we'll talk about in a couple of more slides. Detox the body with a raw plant cleanse and exercise. You could do a raw juice cleanse, a smoothie cleanse, raw food cleanse, which consists of salads, lettuce wraps, or any foods that don't have any heat put to them are cooked. Or you could do a combo of all the above. We recommend the raw plant cleanse because when you eat the plant in its most raw form, that's when you get the best nutrients. As you put heat and you cook foods, you actually kill off the nutrients. Think about broccoli. Have you ever eaten broccoli and it's a very, very dark forest green? Broccoli should be a very fluorescent green, meaning you should only maybe boil it for about 30 to 45 seconds or saute it for about a minute. As the vegetable gets darker, you are killing off the nutrients. A very common cooking error that we make in our culture is when it comes to cooking greens. Your mama's throwing on the collard greens, the mustard greens, and then she puts them in a pot and cooks them all night. Well, by the next day, all those nutrients are completely killed out the greens. You're just eating the food itself, but the body is not absorbing or digesting any of the applicable nutrients. So you want to be mindful of doing a raw cleanse because that will aid in assisting giving your body the nutrients it needs so it can start flushing out the toxins from the previous diet foods that you have been consuming. And then we also recommend exercising a minimum of 30 minutes a day, minimum of 5 days a week. And the reason why we say that is because as you're exercising, you're sweating and you're burning out the toxins that your body is also pushing through with the cleanse. So this is just going to speed up the cleansing process and aid in getting all of the toxin and chemicals out the body that are harmful, that may be causing plaque, that may be causing other illnesses and diseases to form in the body. Eat a variety of different color veggies and fruits daily. The reason reason why we're asking this is because the different colors provides different healing agents to the body, whether it's certain vitamins, whether it's antioxidants. Certain vegetables cure certain things. You might have a certain vegetable that's designated for the brain. For instance, beets are known to be heart healthy. Beets are also known to be healthy for mothers that are breastfeeding or even carrying. So you want to eat a variety of these different vegetables and fruits throughout the day. I always say on your plate, it should be very colorful with your fruits and vegetables. And then you could just mix throughout the day what you're eating so you're not eating the same thing and you're mixing up the different nutrients that are being consumed by the body. So for green, we have green leafy vegetables such as kale, collard, spinach, cabbage, bell peppers, zucchini, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, celery, kiwi, apples, grapes with seed, limes, and honeydew. For yellow, we have squash, corn, potatoes, bell peppers, pineapple, and mangoes. For red, we have tomatoes, bell peppers, onions, potatoes, berries, apples, grapes with seed, watermelon with seeds, and pears. For orange, we have carrots, sweet potatoes, bell peppers, pumpkin, papaya, oranges, and cantaloupe. And for purple, we have eggplant, cabbage, grapes, fig, currant, elderberry, and plums. Consume all of the food groups consistently on a daily basis. So every single day, you should be consuming vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts and seeds, whole grains, and specific herbs and spices. When we say herbs, we're referring to basil, cilantro, parsley, thyme, rosemary, dill. When we're referring to spices, cumin, turmeric, ginger, cayenne pepper, black pepper, all of those are very important for the body. Now, if you feel like this may be difficult to do, I always say, well, why don't you make a smoothie first thing in the morning? One thing I like to do is to get my day started is put a smoothie together that has all of the food groups so that I'm hitting on every single group. That way, if I happen to eat just more veggies than whole grains or more seeds than legumes during my lunch and dinner meals, then I have compensated for that during breakfast. So in my smoothies, I would add kale, carrot as a vegetable. Fruits, it could be mango, apple, and pineapple, or even berries. When it comes to legumes, chickpeas, nuts and seeds, I mix between chia seeds, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, and nuts, cashews, or walnuts. When it comes to whole grains, it could be quinoa or oat that I might put in. And then when it comes to herbs and spices, turmeric, ginger always goes in all of my smoothies, in addition to sea moss. Now, if you notice that once you've had that smoothie, then with each meal, I would make sure that vegetables is the largest item that you have on your plate, in addition to legumes, then whole grains, and then everything else is spaced out from there. Now, fruits is very important, so I eat that more as a snack or a dessert, but you need to make sure that you're touching on all of these food groups every single day. Indulge in beneficial supplements. Sea moss is something that I indulge in on a daily basis. It has benefits such as expelling mucus from the body. Mucus is associated with the buildup of plaque in the body that normally comes from processed foods, as I mentioned earlier, like white flour, white sugar, white rice. It's also associated with chronic illnesses. Sea moss also is healthy for skin, hair, and nails, healthy immune system, healthy digestive system. It aids in thyroid regulation. It's a sexual stimulant. It aids in decreasing mental health issues. It is very, very beneficial. Vitamin B12 and vitamin D supplements. These are the two vitamins that may be difficult for vegans to consume because these vitamins happen to be included in meats, dairy, infused in cereals. So with B12, you can get whole food supplements. You can also indulge in things like kombucha. When it comes to vitamin D, just making sure you're getting a minimum of 30 minutes of sunlight on your skin each day. And then we have additional supplements such as spirulina, moringa, and chlorella that play beneficial roles as well. It's just like taking added vitamins to the body and ensure that you're not suffering from malnutrition. Read all nutrition labels. It is so important to read nutrition labels. Most people do not care about the nutrition labels, especially in our culture, because we just see the box or whatever it is that we're wanting. We know that's what we want because it tastes good and we grab it. We never turn it over to the side or on the back and read what's going on. A few things that I would like to recommend for you to pay attention to is the calorie count, very important. your macro and micronutrients, so knowing how much fat is included. If it has trans fat and saturated fat, those are the bad fats. We don't want to consume foods that have too much of that. But monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats are the more healthier fats. You want to pay attention to your sodium, your carbohydrates, your proteins, along with the vitamins and minerals. And then the next important feature of the label is the actual ingredients. The ingredients are listed in descending order. So whatever's listed on the first, second, or third options is what's most in that product. If you see items such as high corn fructose syrup or other ingredients that might have traces of milk or animal products, fish oil, you want to be mindful of those things, because then that product is not vegan. And if it's in those first couple of options listed for the ingredients, that means that specific food item is dominantly made with that product. You want to be able to track your progress. So 3 options that I would like to recommend is a food diary or journal. So just write down what you have been eating, the modifications made, and the amounts that are being consumed. So this can be in an actual physical journal that you buy, something that you can write out. You could be typing it in the notes app on your phone. There's also health and wellness apps that you can search for just by going into your app stores. You're able to locate apps that are made for nutrition that are free, that you are able to insert applicable data to generate reporting, and then that will allow you to review past progress and can see how you have progressed over time. And then the third recommendation is to get your annual physicals. Review your vitals year over year to determine your progress. It is so beneficial for me to go in and get my physical done and then go look at my past results over the last few years since I've been plant-based, and just watch the statistics from it and see how well I'm doing health-wise. And just knowing that I feel it and I see it, but to see it on paper and know for sure like this is really the route that you're headed, is just such a blissful feeling, and I really want you all to have that same feeling. So to sum up what we discussed today, I discussed with you how veganism saved my life. Veganism is one of the best decisions that I've made. You could not have told me 5 years ago I was going to be a vegan, but it's something that I stand firm behind, and it's something that I will continue to be an advocate for moving forward. We also discussed helpful tips to decrease chronic illnesses. I gave you a list of ones that I was diagnosed with, and I have many clients that I have worked through with nutrition consulting to help go through the same process of progressing to achieving optimal health. And then 3, how veganism can save your life. I gave you those tips. I gave you some pointers. And if you want additional information, I can definitely tell you how you can get in contact with me so I can better help serve you on this fight, saving your life with eating healthy. So again, my name is Professor Brittany Walker Craig. I am a retired chef, but I am a plant-based nutritionist and a biology professor. One of my businesses I have is a consulting agency, NNG Consulting. There I do assist our community with getting their businesses started, or with existing organizations with getting restructured, project management, auditing and analysis, organizational structure, but I also offer nutrition consultation. So this is for individuals who would like to learn more about transitioning to plant-based, or actions they can begin taking to achieving optimal health. I also assist Black restaurants with revamping their menus by taking items that they already have in-house that they can use to attract the vegan demographics, and safe practices to make sure you're not cross-contaminating between the items that you do have that are animal-based or dairy. With NNG Consulting, my website is www.nngconsulting.org. You can email me at info@nngconsulting.org, or you can reach me on IG at NNG Consulting. My business phone number is 346-291-7797. And I also am a co-founder of LeVay Sea Moss, which houses sea moss products from dry sea moss, Crondus crispus, that is wildcrafted in St. Lucia, Bahamas. And we offer sea moss gel options because with the strong sea taste of sea moss, we wanted to be able to mask that taste for you, but also give you other added organic nutrients that are helpful for the body. You could definitely go through my IG account, and there is a link that links you to the CMOS information as well, or you can contact me and I'll be more than happy to further educate you on those options. But it has been a pleasure today educating you on how veganism saved my life, and I hope that it can save yours too as you take this pledge for Veguary and becoming a Black vegan. Thank you all, and I hope that you all have an amazing rest of the day.